Hi, I'm Melissa Barkett, and today I'm going to discuss Olin Corporation. Olin organizes itself into three segments: chlor-alkali, epoxy, and Winchester. The chlor-alkali products and vinyl segment, which generates the majority of revenue, sells chlorine and caustic soda, which are used in a variety of industries, including cosmetics, textiles, crop protection, and fire protection products. The epoxy segment sells epoxy resins used in paints and coatings. The Winchester segment sells sporting ammunition and ammunition accessories under the Winchester brand. Olin began in 1892 as a small blasting powder supplier in East Alton, Illinois. Following a few decades of success, along with some fruitful acquisitions, Olin added Matheson Chemical Corporation into the mix, further increasing Olin's product offerings. In 1931, Olin bought Winchester into the fold, the leading manufacturer of ammunition in the United States. Collectively, these business segments employ 8,000 professionals in more than 20 countries. Olin's executive offices are in Clayton, Missouri. Why we're all here today is to talk about the problems facing Olin and Olin's solution to those problems. We're going to focus on 4 issues at hand, 2 external and 2 internal. First, I'd like to talk about the external problems. The 2 external problems at the forefront for Olin are the country's view on gun safety and the European Union's proposal to ban all lead shot near wetlands. Let's first talk about the socio-cultural issue of gun safety. After the mass shootings that happened, Sandy Hook Elementary in Connecticut, Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida, El Paso Walmart in Texas, Las Vegas Music Festival in Nevada, just to name a few, citizens began demanding more gun laws. Businesses like Walmart started changing their business models when it came to guns and ammo to align with the cultural climate. How does America's views on gun safety impact Olin? In 2019, Walmart announced they were going to stop selling handgun ammunition and short barrel rifle ammunition, such as the .223 caliber and .556. Walmart also requested that customers no longer openly carry guns in its 4,700 U.S. store or its Sam's Club stores in states that allow open carry. This announcement came 1 month after the mass shooting in a Walmart in El Paso, Texas. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon said that Walmart's changes were prompted by the El Paso, Texas shooting, as well as recent mass shootings in Dayton, Ohio, and Midland and Odessa, Texas. In that same press release, McMillon said, "We feel like we are striking a responsible balance between the interests of law-abiding citizens who are exercising their legal rights and the safety concerns of our associates and customers." Why is Walmart's decision a problem for Olin Corporation? Walmart accounted for about 20% of the market share for ammo. Winchester is one of their biggest suppliers. They are now only going to account for between 6 and 9% of the market share. Walmart's decision would not only have an impact on Winchester sales, but it would also impact the customers who bought their ammo from Walmart. How is Olin reacting to Walmart's decision? They're making sure their customers can still get the ammo they want by selling more volume to other retail chains like Academy and Bass Pro Shop, as well as to distributors. They are also selling directly to dealers so Winchester's customers can buy their ammo at their local gun shop. Winchester's solution to the problem is good because they are making sure their customers, their number one priority, are taken care of and that their customers can still get ammo. Another external problem Olin is facing is the EU's proposed lead shot ban. If the ban is passed, it will make it illegal to use lead shot in and around all wetland areas throughout the 27 member countries of the EU. Why is this response a problem for Olin? Because there are an estimated total of 6.7 million hunters in Europe, and this ban will impact. That's potentially 6.7 million Winchester customers. The stakeholders are the governments, particularly European Parliament's Environmental Committee and the Federation of Associations for Hunting and Conservation, also known as the abbreviation FACE. The government wants to ban lead shot shells because of the toxic effects of lead. The government's reasoning for wanting to ban is because it's estimated around 21 to 27,000 tons of lead are dispersed across Europe every year when small pellets from the shots land in the water and soil of wetlands. Lead has been used in ammunition for decades, but only a small proportion of lead fired hits its target. Not only is lead harmful for the environment, it is also harmful for people. Residual lead in game meat has been found to be dangerous to young children who are vulnerable to the toxic effect of lead. FACE's argument is not about whether or not lead shots should be phased out, but how they go about phasing it out. They argue that the definition of wetlands is too broad and not apparent to anyone but a trained scientist. The hunting organization is asking that the proposal be sent back to the REACH committee, who oversees Europe's chemical management rules. What is Olin's solution for this proposed ban? Currently, they offer 114 different types of lead-free shotgun shell ammo, everything from deer, waterfowl, and clay shooting. This response is a good strategy, as they are not alienating any customers, but they are instead giving their customers more options. With or without the ban, some customers would still prefer the lead-free shotgun shell for their environmental benefits. But because of them taking action before a ban is put into place, Winchester's customers will have ammo to continue their recreational and sport shooting. Now let's look at the internal problems Olin is facing. The two problems I'd like to discuss today is employee retention and Olin's change of leadership. Let's first discuss Olin's employee retention. It is estimated that 43% of manufacturing companies report an average of at least 20% annual turnover. Olin is no exception. There are costs associated with bringing new employees on board, from time and resources interviewing, performing a background check, the cost of drug and physicals, time spent during orientation, money spent on personal protective equipment, the list goes on. According to the Society for Human Resource Management's new Human Capital Benchmarking Report, the average cost per hire is $4,129. For a company like Olin, who employs over 8,000 employees, a 20% annual turnover is 1,600 people. With an average cost per hire of $4,129, that is $6,606,400 spent annually on new hires. The stakeholders are Olin shareholders and Olin employees. The $6+ million annually spent on new hires impacts Olin's net revenue. And what is Olin doing to not be able to retain their employees? Why are their employees leaving? I do not believe Olin's strategy is what's best for employee retention. They need to do exit surveys to figure out why the employees are leaving. Is it for a job with better benefits, better working hours, better working conditions? Or do they leave because they felt they did not get the adequate training to do their jobs successfully? There are some problems like working hours that they cannot fix, but other problems like developing a better on-job training model they can. Which is why it's important for them as a company to listen and understand why employees are leaving and what they can do better in order to keep them. Not every plant will have the same issues when it comes to employees leaving, so local human resources needs to coordinate and implement best practices for their plant. Another issue Olin Corporation is facing is the changing of chief executive officers. It was announced in July of 2020 that current Olin CEO John E. Fisher was to retire due to the corporation's mandatory retirement policy for senior executives. He would continue on as executive chairman, but effective September 1st, 2020, Scott M. Sutton would succeed Fisher as president and chief executive officer. The stakeholders involved are Olin Corporation and its shareholders. The corporation has a policy in place that requires all senior level executives to retire once they hit a certain age. However, the shareholders may be concerned about a new CEO taking over during a downward time in sales and the uncertainty of the current COVID-19 pandemic. I agree with Olin's solution, which was to appoint someone who has served on Olin's board since September 19, 2018, and that has more than 20 years of experience in the chemicals industry. He is familiar with the ins and outs of the business, has a vested interest in the success of the business and its shareholders, and is familiar with the certain struggles Olin is facing. This fact should give the shareholders some confidence in Olin's appointment of Mr. Sutton as CEO. In closing, I'd like to commend Olin on their ability to make up for the lost sales of Walmart and other distribution channels, and the fact that they are ahead of the curve when it comes to bans on toxic materials such as lead. Both of these problems could have negatively impacted Olin's sales, but they found a solution to overcome those problems. Also, as it is company policy that senior executives have to retire at a certain age, no one could have predicted that mandate would in effect happen during a global pandemic, and Olin was smart in choosing a new CEO with company and industry experience to take over during an uncertain time. While Olin's solutions for the most part were the best practices, they still fell short in one area, which is employee retention. The good news is that there are still plenty of practices Olin can put into place to correct this problem. It's not too late to turn around employee retention through employee engagement, better on-the-job training, being competitive in not only pay, but as benefits as well for the area. Thank you.